Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Youth Fully Show. My name is Fabian Collins, and I am the host. So, happy new month, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's the month of September, the ninth month in the year 2020. Woo! It's been a really um, rough ride. Should I say rough ride? A rough ride, yeah. Beginning from January, it was not all smooth and everything, but God has kept us up till this month, and we're grateful. We're grateful, right? So this evening, we're here to talk about something that I believe is needed at this time, something I believe is going to be of value to you, something I believe is going to be of importance to you at this time, right? So I'd really appreciate it if if you're alone here, you can always go and then talk to your friends and family and then bring them over here, especially the youth, because they need to hear this. And today I'm alone on the show. I'll be talking about this alone, right? So before I start, last week we talked about strategies to winning the post-COVID war. It was amazing. I still want to say a big shout out to Joseph Emmanuel for joining us, and for sticking with us till the end. I know network was a little bit crazy last week, but I still want to thank you for staying with us. And last week too, lighting was also a problem, but this week it has been fixed. Thank you very much for staying with us last week, and then this week is better, right? So if you can hear me, if you can't, you can hear me. Of course, you won't have to say anything. But if you can't hear me, or if it's breaking where you are, you can always drop a comment, and then um, rectify that if possible from here. Okay, so sustaining steam. I'm trying to see. So we have like two people already on ground. Trying to see how we can stall a little bit so for others to join or sustaining steam. So when we say when the word sustenance comes to mind, the first thing we know about the word sustain is that whatever we're sustaining is almost coming to an end. Whatever we're sustaining, whatever it is we're trying to hold on to or preserve or protect from finishing or from ending, is about to come to an end, right? So you're there to sustain it, to keep it from falling, to keep it from ending, to keep it from fading out or faltering, right? So sustaining steam, we know that when you think about steam, you think about vapor. It doesn't, last all that long, the steam and then vapor. If the source, imagining it comes from a cup of tea, cup of coffee, the steam of the vapor will not last long, but there is a way it can be sustained. And we're taking that analogy into real life, right? How do we sustain our steam as individuals, as business persons, as writers, as entrepreneurs, as speakers? How do we sustain steam? In the post I made on Facebook today, I said, if you're in the knowledge industry, if you're in any industry that serves knowledge, serves food, serves whatever service it is, you would know that, and you've been doing it from like January up to this time, you would have experienced this point of saturation, a point where your strength has reached the climax, and then it's as if you are beginning to come down and all that. So it's natural for these things to happen, but there is a way you can sustain the strength to finish strong, right? There's a way you can sustain that strength. So, well, this evening we're going to be reading from the Bible. We're going to be reading from the Bible, right? We're going to be learning some things from the Bible. John chapter 2. It's already on the screen. John chapter 2, we're reading from verse 1 to 3, then verse 9. It's a popular miracle of Jesus, the first he did. We're going to be taking 5 pointers from that scripture. So I'd like you, if you can just look at the screen and then get the lessons as we proceed. So John chapter 2 from verse 1 says, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and verse 2. And Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. Sorry about that. So verse 3 now. When the wine was gone, this is like the major verse what we'll be hinging on. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, they have no more wine. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, they have no more. And if you're just joining us, this evening we're talking about sustaining steam, and I am alone on the show. We'll be talking about this together, taking our lessons from the Bible. I said there are 5 pointers in this scripture, and I'd like to, start by talking about the wedding feast. How does this relate with our lives? Let's first of all talk about wedding feast. When you hear wedding feast, what comes to your mind is celebration. What comes to your mind is people gathering around, to celebrate a particular person. There is drinks, there is food, there is joy. People are just, applauding whoever is being wedded, right? The couple, right? So the wedding feast is significant of the moment in our lives when everybody is celebrating us. Significance of that point in time in your life when it feels like everybody is just applauding you. The applause is coming back to back. Everybody says, oh, this person is doing amazing. Oh, Sandra, you're doing amazing. Oh, Emmanuel, you're doing fantastic. I heard you speak that day. It was powerful. I saw your write-up that day. You were just speaking directly to me. I saw your video. You were doing this. The spoken word you gave, it spoke directly to my heart. People are just celebrating you. The comments are coming. The applause is coming. Your audience is expanding because everybody wants to be around. That's the image I want you to keep in mind now for a wedding feast and how it relates to our lives. So the wedding feast, everybody's there celebrating you, cheering you on, saying, you're doing very well. You're doing very well. There's always that point in time in our lives, point in time in whatever we're doing, the business you're doing, whatever industry you are, that point in time where everybody celebrates you. Right? There is always that point. So, but there is a second point, right? That period, the second point I'm going to release now is the period when the wine is finished. So you're in the feast, just at that moment when everybody's celebrating you, cheering you on, right? Your wine finishes. That is what happened in that, in Cana and Galilee during that wedding feast. They were celebrating. Everybody was jubilating. Everybody was happy, right? And then towards probably the end of the wedding where there is more intensity, people want to drink more, the wine got finished. Now, how does that relate with our lives? Because remember I said there are 5 pointers here. First is that this period where the wine finishes reflects the point where we have come to the end of ourselves and there is nothing more to offer, right? We have come to the end of ourselves. There is nothing more to offer. That period when you're still, writers call it the writer's block, right? No inspiration is coming for you to put anything down. No, the words are not just coming. So you can just be looking at your system all day and then you're typing just almost the same things, typing and then erasing, typing and deleting. Nothing is coming. For some people, this lasts a lifetime. This writer's block, it lasts a lifetime. For businesses, they see this as a point of stagnation, where ideas as to how to continue, they are not coming at all. Right? Generally, this period is that period where we say you are running out of steam. You're running out of steam. Your message is becoming stale. People are listening to you, but you're repeating the same things over and over again. Right? That point where everything you're giving out is the same thing you are giving out previously, and people want more. People want more. The thing about offering services, the thing about being in the front line, the thing about offering whatever value it is you are offering to the public is that the more you give, the more people want to get from you, right? The more value you're oozing out, the more people want to suck from you. It's like you discovered Eric Thomas today, or let me come back home. You discovered Apostle Joshua Selman today, and then you heard his message. That day, the day you discover, you'll be like, who is this guy? Who is this man? So you go online, you search for his messages, you search for his books, you search for his audio tapes, and then you're listening to him, you're reading his books, watching his videos. What you're doing, you're trying to get everything possible from him. So if you watch like 15 videos, and then from the 16th up to the 20th, what you're hearing is almost the same thing as what you heard in the previous 15 videos. You'll be like, I think there is nothing more to hear. I've been able to exhaust this guy. People will not leave you. There are 2 reasons why people don't leave certain people they follow. It's either the person they are following is so endowed and so capacious that value that he or she gives out is renewed every time. Or the second reason is that they, they are done with that person. They've exhausted the person's wisdom. They've exhausted the person's source of knowledge. So they want to move on to other people they can follow. Those are the two possible reasons. So if you're in an industry where you're giving out value, giving out service, giving out products, whatever it is, know this. There are two reasons why people will stick with you. It's either what you're offering is so powerful every time you come out to show it, to showcase it, or that they're going to be leaving you because they have exhausted everything you have to offer. Let me say that again. If you're in an industry where you're offering value, you're offering service, two reasons why people will stick with you. First is that what you're offering is so powerful they can't afford to leave. And the second will be that, okay, I think that would just be one reason there. What you're offering, the only reason why people stick with you first year, second year, third year, up to the fifth year, is that what you're offering is renewed every morning. It's like should I compare it like the mercies of God? The Bible says the mercies of God are new every morning. So every time you come forth to speak, every time you show up, you're showing up strong, showing up renewed, showing up revived with fresh information, fresh value to offer. So that's the first reason why people will stick with you. Now, and first and only reason. Now, but for the second reason I was talking about, now that reason is what makes people leave people they follow. They come to you, they've searched out everything you have to offer, and they are done with you. They will just leave. They will just leave. And people are not really sentimental about these things. So the period where the wine finishes is that period in time when we have come to the end of ourselves, basically. And now, but note this. The wedding doesn't end immediately the wine finishes. The wedding doesn't end. Whatever occasion, if you've attended a wedding occasion before, the wedding doesn't end when the food or when the drinks finish. So that means people may still be clapping for you even when you are giving out stale information. People may still be clapping. People may still be around you when what you're giving out is not fresh. They've heard it before. They hear you say something and be like, I've heard that before. I heard that somewhere. I've heard that before. He said this before and all that. They might be sticking with you, but it doesn't mean that they are following you. Maybe what they are waiting for is for you to spring back up, right? So the wedding feast doesn't end doesn't mean that wine is still available. So what happens is that people begin to leave one after the other. If you've ever observed that you're losing followers, you're losing your audience, you're losing your market, it didn't just happen immediately. If you had 5,000 followers, they did not just leave you completely. They didn't just move away. It started number after number, a certain percentage of people to a certain percentage that way until they were reduced to nothing. And how did that happen? It was a process. Your wine finished and you didn't know. In the scripture we just read, John chapter 2, we realized that that's the next point. It was the mother of Jesus, a complete guest, that knew that wine was finished. A complete guest. The master of the feast didn't know. If you check verse 9, verse that scripture, the master of the feast did not know that wine had finished. He didn't know. So it is possible that you can be running out of steam as a person and you are ignorant of it. It is possible that what you're giving out daily, if you're whatever industry you are, whatever thing you're doing, it is possible that the information you give out is stale, right? There is nothing new about it. There is no new energy about it. There is no fire that is sparks in the hearts of men, right? When you come out to talk, there is no real passion, there is no real fire, there's no real spark, there's no real energy. It is possible that you're losing steam and you don't know it. And that is very, very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous that what you're giving out is stale, but you do not know that it is stale. So you feel that because the wedding is still going on, you feel that because people are still around you, people are still saying, nice one, well done, that you are still on the same level. Listen, people are not sentimental. Most people are not sentimental about the people they follow. If they are following you, they want to be sure that if in 2012 they discovered you to be somebody very powerful, By 2018, when they're coming back to search out on all things that pertain to you, you are still on fire, right? Or you're even better, even hotter. And then you say, this guy is just something else. This lady is just something else. We do it. I do it. Everybody does it. It's like that. If you're following somebody and then at some point the person is saying things repeatedly, but what the person is giving out is still, you would know. You would know. So that brings you to the next point. People, your audience, your customers will always know when your message or products become stale. They always know, but they will stick around for a while waiting for you to spring back up. They always know. They always know. So it's dangerous when, as a person who is supposed to be at the front line, the person who is supposed to be the set man, you don't know that what you're giving out is stale. There's no more steam. There's no more fire. It doesn't strike any chord, any new chord in the souls of men anymore. It doesn't, cause men to go back and then, work on themselves. It doesn't, it doesn't spark any fire. It doesn't spark anything in their heart. It is possible that you can be running out of steam and you don't know. But the sad part is your audience will know, and they don't leave immediately. They leave one after the other. They leave one after the other. So sometimes when people leave you, it's not because they are rude. They are asking themselves, what more is there to this person for me to stay here? What more? What more is there to staying with this person, staying connected with this person? So I am burning my data, watching this person every day. Sorry, I think network had a little issue there. So sorry about that. So they're asking themselves, why should I stick around? Why should I be with this person year one, year two, year three, year four, and then not move on? I was it last week now? Yeah, last week. I used to stay in Calabar. Growing up, I used to stay in Calabar. And I remember in secondary school, precisely when I was in SS3, I had this very loyal students of mine who used to come around every time, so I could talk to them and all that. What I usually did then was I used to usually move from class to class, talking to my junior students and all that, and they respected me for it. So there's this particular student who I talked with. Students went through a whole lot, went through hell from home, and then so I had to be the one talking to her every time, every time, every time. She was in SS1 then. So years after, like, okay, I know we used to spend like time together. See, if you go to a point where my principal even asks me, why are you always counseling ladies? I'm like, sir, it's not my fault. Right? So there was a time she visited my house, and think she even people got to know her even. So we talked more. But the point is, I moved from Calabar and I was no longer in Calabar right now. But last week I got information that that's not like after many years I've left school and then I've moved on. Somebody called me and said that she came to visit and was like, trying to find out if I was still around. Apparently, I had done something, that made her want to come back to search me out. Right? So if somebody discovers you today, why should the person stick with you for as many years as you want? If somebody has found your product today, why should the person continue patronizing you? What is it that you offer that makes your products unique every time it is being used? Every time it is being used. What makes you different from other people? Right? You can't keep coming out and giving information that is stale and expect people to stay around. No, it doesn't work like that. So the fourth point I'm going to bring up from that scripture is a question. Now, what if the mother of Jesus was not there? Have you thought about that? What if the mother of Jesus was not at that feast as at the time the wine finished? During times when our messages become stale, if you don't have people like the mother of Jesus around to alert you or to put things in place to help you spring back up, you will crash, and you will crash big. We need people like that around us. People that can tell you the truth. Look, Fabian, look, Collins, look, what you're giving out, sir, is still, you said this last week. It is painful, trust me. It is very, very painful for you to hear that. But the idea is not to be pained. The idea is to go back and work on yourself. We already know this. You can't give what you don't have. We already know that, right? Now, but the point is, you can have something, but you've given to a point where what you have is now empty. So you are reaching back to the past. It's like, bottom pot, something like that. Everything is finished now. You are just scraping from the little that is left. No, no, you won't do that and then have an audience, loyal audience of people, always waiting around to watch you. They might do it for some time, but after some time they will leave. They will leave. The next and the last point from that scripture before we move on is the wine available was for a limited number of people. The wine available was for a limited number of people. I'm going to ask you a question. The amount of knowledge you have right now, how many people do you think can be blessed with it? How many people do you think will be willing to flock around you? Which categories of people? Because there's a message you can have, and there's some class of people you will not talk to. There is a message you can have as a person, and there's a class of people you can't talk to. It's not like it's magic or is wickedness or anything. There are some people you can't talk to because the message you have is limited, is just to a limited number of people. For example, if you come around, if your message is what you keep talking about is the fact that if you don't give your life to Christ, you will go to hell, and so you shouldn't be rich. You shouldn't be rich, and then you should stick around a particular lifestyle in order to be able to make heaven. You will have an audience, right? But there are those who want to live well and then still make heaven. They won't listen to you. They won't listen to you. That's the truth. They won't listen to you. And you may say, yeah, it's the truth. We're talking about the truth. It is absolutely correct what you're saying. But even the Bible says it is God that gives you the power to make wealth. Right? Some of us, in an attempt to spread the word, we have limited God to be a particular person. So we limit God to the part where God is only the all-consuming fire, right? We limit God to the part where it's only the all-consuming fire. But God is also the one who makes us become wealthy. He gives us the power to make wealth. He said the earth is yours and the fullness thereof, right? He gives us the power to make wealth. So when we limit God to a particular dimension, that's just how he manifests himself to you. So when you take that knowledge of that knowledge of what you've been reading, your knowledge of the scriptures, your knowledge of the Bible, your knowledge of who God is, your perception of who God is, then you take it out and then you're preaching and then you're saying, look, the only way to make this thing is to continue serving God. You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be that, you don't have to be that. And then people are listening to you. If you observe and then you watch closely, people that will be listening to you are probably, in terms of finances, nowhere near anything good. Nowhere near anything good in terms of finances. Right? That's just the truth about this whole thing. The wine available was for a limited number of people. In deciding what product you'll be selling or what message you'll be sharing, you may have carved out a particular set of the audience. The truth is, even for that audience you've carved out, they will keep expanding. You can't feed people with the same amount of wine, the same amount of knowledge, year in, year out. It will finish. So you have to keep adding to yourself. You have to keep adding to yourself. This is about you. It's about you. Okay, you can say, yeah, I create content based on what my customer, based on what my audience needs. That is true. But if you've not added value to yourself to a point where you can be giving out new things every time you're writing, every time you're talking, at some point, that audience that you think you're particular about, they will leave and they won't be sentimental about it. So here are some random facts you should note. But before then, you must have heard of the story of King Saul from the Bible, of course. Story of King Saul. He was in the throne, but another king had been chosen. What could be more terrible than that? You're on the throne, you're just there as a ceremonial head with the crown on your head, but there is another king. Another king has been chosen. So you're out there as the set man, you're out there as the frontliner, you're out there as the arrowhead. It is possible that you can be out there, but another person has been chosen. It is possible that you're out there, that you are a leader in a particular organization, but people don't respect you, they respect an ordinary member. It's possible. Now, in those situations, it has happened to me many times. I've been in organizations where it is me they listen to, and sometimes I just try to run away from it. It happens, maybe it has happened to you, so you would immediately understand what I'm saying. You will immediately understand what I'm saying. If you're a leader somewhere and then people don't listen to you anymore, people listen to somebody that is just a member in your organization, very soon you'll be out of office. You'll be out of office. People are not sentimental about these things, so you have to keep adding to yourself. Now, random facts you should note about sustaining steam. First, it is possible to never run out of steam. I'll tell you how to achieve that in a bit. It is possible for you to never run out of steam as a person. It is possible. You can be celebrated based on what you did in the past. That's okay. But if all you have is a better yesterday, then there's a problem. If you always have to make reference to what you achieved in the past, do you know who I was? I spoke in a conference where there was a president and all that. I spoke in a conference where this and this class of people were seated. I did this in the past. If all you have is a better yesterday, you will not be remembered for long. You will not be remembered for long. Because every day things are changing, times are changing, people are coming up. It's amazing the number of people we have in the world who are struggling, especially Nigerians. People are coming up, and then your seat will soon be overtaken is allowed. We already know that. It's like survival of the fittest and elimination of the unfit. So if all you have is a better yesterday, a better past, then you can't be remembered for long. You cannot be remembered for long. You have to keep doing things, keep renewing your energy, keep adding to yourself in such a way that anytime you show up new and fresh. So three, people who never run out of steam don't focus so much on the applause of men. They don't focus so much on the applause of men, because people can be clapping for you, Sam, and you become very, very proud. You become very, very proud that you don't even recognize the fact that you're saying almost the same things. They can be clapping for you, and then you totally forget that these are the same people that will turn their backs against you if and when you eventually fall. That's the truth about the audience. One day, you are an example of good. The next day, if you fall, you become like an example that they make reference to. You say, don't be like this person. This was a mistake he made, and then he failed. You can be an example for excellence today, and then tomorrow become an example of failure. That's just how it is. So choose which example you want to be. Choose the kind of person you want to be, and then don't allow the applause of men fool you. Don't let it get into your head such that you don't go back and check yourself and evaluate yourself. Because the truth is, you are not really competing with anybody. We'll get there soon. You're not really competing with anybody. Fourth point is, running out of steam is not good, right? Being ignorant is bad. But what is worse is being told you are suffering from this problem and then you deliberately ignore the details. That's what's worst. There are some people like that. And what I'm saying is even annoying you. Somebody walks up to you and says, Fabian, you need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself. You used to do all those times, but just work on yourself. Just keep reading, keep studying, keep expanding your knowledge so that you'll be able to, carry everybody along. Because the knowledge, it is true that the knowledge I have right now is not everybody I can carry along. That's just the truth. The knowledge you have as a person is not everybody can carry along. So for you to carry almost everybody that you have carved out as your audience along, you have to expand your knowledge. What do you know? People pay you to teach them things that they do not know, but you do know. So what do you know? What do you have to offer? To what degree can your value reach, right? So the value you're giving out every day, Can it carry everybody along? Steam is only sustained when its source is hot. Steam is only sustained when its source is hot. Your impact will spread, gain grounds, and speak where your voice cannot be heard. When you always show up strong, new, fresh, and ready. There are some places Joshua Selman doesn't have to be, but his impact has reached there. This abiding TV right now, you're watching right now, this TV, the CEO doesn't have to be everywhere, but the impact of abiding TV has spread. So people are benefiting from abiding TV, right? But he is not even there. That's steam. That's steam. If during on the anniversary of abiding TV was sharing the experiences for the past 6 years, right? So, and he was talking about the fact that it is not easy to be consistent. When you're coming up every time to give a value, you're posting content daily. And then you can imagine the first time it started, and then people were like, are you sure you have what it takes to do this kind of thing? Right? That preliminary period, the steam would have been very, 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 very intense. So you'd be like, yeah, I have what it takes to continue. 6 years down the line, the steam is still there. There is something he's doing. There's something he's doing. So steam is only sustained when its source is hot. When its source is hot. So I just saw seeing a comment here. Okay. So how do you sustain your steam? How do you sustain your steam? How do you sustain your steam? How do you keep yourself fresh, keep yourself new, keep yourself ready every time? How do you keep yourself strong every time so that when you're showing up in such a way as people cannot ignore you? There's some people that if you miss, you just went online to just check messages and then you just stumbled on their video, no matter how long it is. There's some people you can't ignore. There are people like that. There are messages like that. One of the examples is John Obidi. Every time I go on Facebook and then I see a message, check my notifications, and I see his message, the first thing, immediately I see, and I'm about to scroll down, and I see John Obidi posted this, I just click it at once. There are some people you can't just ignore because of what they have and because of the fact that they have proven themselves over time to be people that will never run out of steam. For you to be given such a class, such a badge, that look, you are a person that will never run out of steam, it means you've proven yourself time and again that you have what it takes to last year in, year out, to last month in, month out. You have what it takes to run this business, to give out this product, this service, this value, and not be tired. Every morning you're waking up, you're typing something, you're sending out value, you're sending out content. How are we sure you will not be tired when it is like 5 years from now? How are we sure you're going to keep preaching this same message you're preaching 3 years from now? So before people can give you the class, give you that badge that, look, you're somebody who will not run out of steam, means you've proven yourself over time. And if you've done that and then they've given you that class, giving you that badge, you can never be ignored. Just your name, or probably your logo, probably your brand, whatever it is that represents you, wherever it is seen, people will always stop by to check what is going on. They will always stop by to check what's going on. The value you have right now, how many people can you carry along with it? You've been praying to God, Father, please give me this audience, give me this market, give me this, give me that, give me this connection. Are you sure that if that connection is given to you now, you have what it takes to sustain one conversation with that person? You have what it takes to sustain one conversation. It doesn't take quite a long time to prove who you are. It doesn't take quite a long time to put forth yourself as somebody of value. If you are looking to have a connection with somebody, say like an Alder, or somebody like who else do I mention now? Okay, John Obidi, I already mentioned him, Ejimine Dawo, whoever it is you respect, and then they say, okay, come, let's talk. What do you have upstairs? Can you sustain a conversation with somebody like that. So how do you sustain your steam? I have about 7 points. So the first is be self-aware. Be self-aware. Know yourself. Know when to take a break, when to unplug, and when to plug in again. How do you sustain steam? How do you keep yourself going year in, year out, month in, month out, week in, week out, day in, day out, without running out of steam? Number one, be self-aware. Know yourself. Know when to take a break. Know when to go to the sacred place. Know when to, be with family. Know when to take a break. That thing I'm saying that looks very easy. It's not everybody that knows when to do it. Take the life of Jesus for example. He knew when to go back and pray, when to go back and work on himself. All through those times he went to have his personal fellowship, what do you think he was doing? He was recharging, as Pastor Deboye would say. He was recharging. He was renewing his strength. Because the Bible says, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So he was renewing his strength. As a person giving out value, know when to unplug. Know when to unplug. Nobody's going to come crucify you for doing that. Know when to unplug and when to go back and then work on yourself. Know when to go back and then, pray. Know when to study. Know when to go back and then add value to yourself. Because the truth is, if you don't do that and you just keep working on the same energy that you have, you will lose strength at some point. Right? So that's the first way to be able to sustain your steam. Be self-aware. Know yourself. Know when to take a break, when to unplug, and when to plug in again. Second is starve your distractions, feed your focus. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. What do I classify as distractions? Distractions are activities, people, or anything you are doing that's not adding value to you, but that is wearing you out and wasting your time. Whatever is wearing you out and wasting your time and not adding value to you, but seems important, is a distraction. It's a distraction. Starve them. Feed your focus. Feed your focus. You don't have all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world. Trust me, you don't have all the time in the world. And you've already seen from the recent deaths happening this year, most recent death, Chadwick Boseman. How old was he when he died? You don't have all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world. So you may be saying, I want to be, jack of all trades and do that and do this and do that and do that. It's okay if you have the strength to be able to do those things. But whatever it is that will ultimately not add up to making you the person you dream to be is a distraction. That's what I see as a distraction. So if you put those activities together, those activities you carry out together every day, will they add up to making you the person that you dream to be? If they will not, then you have to starve those distractions. Whatever it is that is taking your time, but that is not adding value to you, starve it. Starve it. Starve it. But feed your focus. Feed your focus. Those two entities, your distractions and then your focus. The one that grows is the one you feed. If you keep spending, and the food you give them is time. Time is the food. So if the amount of time you give your distractions is so high, it overshadows the amount of time you give your focus, you will end up confused at some point. I said something one of those days. I said being dual-natured is lovely until you are 40 and you don't know why you are alive. It's cool to be dual-natured. It's cool to have different personalities. But when you're 40 and somebody asks you the question, who are you? And then, why do you think you are alive? What's your purpose? And you're not able to answer that question at 40. The question still devastates you, still makes you, wonder if you're not going to be making a mistake in what you're going to be saying. Then you will know that time has gone. That time has gone. You don't have all the time in the world as a person. So you have to starve your distractions. You have to first of all identify them, then starve them. Identify them, then starve them. Because if you don't, and then they get to a point where they overshadow your focus, you will get to a dagger point. That one is for sure. That one is for sure. And then, when we say sustaining your steam, right? Sustaining your steam. That steam is your focus. If you keep feeding your distractions and then leaving out what you're supposed to be focusing on, you will end up losing steam. That's number one. And you will lose your audience. And then people will not be referring to you as somebody in the past. Somebody in the past while you're alive. Saul was still alive and David had taken over the throne. He didn't know. Why do you think he wanted to kill him? He was alive. David had taken over the throne. Right? So you are alive and people are making reference to you as if you are dead. This guy used to be good, though. And you are alive. That is something. Okay, so the third point is be your own competition. Another way to sustain your steam, be your own competition, because you are really not here for anyone and no one is competing with you. Be your own competition. Evaluate yourself honestly and don't judge your abilities by the applause of men. They don't always come. Don't judge and measure your abilities by the applause of men. There are days when they won't come. What would you do then? Don't judge your humble beginning by the standard of someone's 20 years of effort. You're just starting out. It's the first year, it's your second year, it's your third year, probably your first month. And you're already measuring yourself with somebody who has been in the industry for about 20 years, for about 7 years. You're competing with yourself. You're competing with yourself. So every day, strive to be better than you were yesterday. Every day, strive to be better than you were when you woke up. So you're sleeping this night. You're asking yourself, was I better? Am I better than I was when I woke up? Those questions will help you evaluate yourself honestly. The fourth is celebrate your little wins. Celebrate your little wins. Learn and master why you won at those intervals, and then note those times you lost too. Celebrate your little wins as a person. Whatever successes you have, no matter how little they are, celebrate them. If you don't celebrate yourself, nobody will celebrate you. That's the truth, right? That's the truth. So celebrate your little wins and then learn and master why you won, so that for two reasons, you'll be able to replicate that success, and number two, you'll be able to teach other people how you succeeded. The truth about succeeding or truth about becoming great or becoming somebody of influence is that there is no way you will get to that point without having a story you can share. There is no way you're going to get to that point without having some lessons you can teach young people so that they can achieve the same results you've achieved. There's no way you can get to that point without having those things. So if you want to get there, then you must be willing to take note and then master why you won and why you lost as at those times where you did. The fifth one, which is the most important, I consider this one the most important. Okay, I think we'll get there. So the fifth point is, every time it feels as though tiredness is setting in, remember why you started. Why did you start in the first place? Why did you start? So you're tired. People are not listening to you. You're going out, nobody cares about you. Your products, nobody wants to patronize you and stuff. Nobody's listening to you. You're sending out value every day. Nobody's saying, all people are doing is saying thank you. You're putting out your good there to be, maybe you're an author and then you want people to buy your book. And then all you see people say is, congratulations, well done. You launched your book, well done. No. That's all they're doing. And nobody's really saying, what's your account number? Let me send this to you. or you're a speaker, you have been speaking for free all this while, and nobody's paying you for it, and then tiredness sets in. If money was your original reason for beginning, you will get tired and you will quit. Your reason for starting has to be stronger than that. It has to be stronger than that. I'm using that modal auxiliary has to, because it is very, very important. It is important that the reason why you start is not money, because there will come a time when this money is not forthcoming. What will keep you going is why you started, right? So every time tiredness sets in, remember why you started, remember the testimonies you have now from people, and remember where you are going. Remember those testimonies, what people said, about you when you started, the value you were giving out, what you've done so far, and then people are saying, this blessed my life. I remember sending out content one morning, and then somebody said, this hit very, very hard. Then another person said, you spoke directly to me, right? So remember all those testimonies, You sold a book, and then the book, transformed the life, and then you are at that point where you're writing another book, and then it feels like you're having this writer's block. Remember why you started. Remember the testimonies of time past, and remember where you're going. It will help you to sustain your steam. It will help you to keep on striving, to keep on, whatever you have to do to get to that point where you cross the line. It will help you to keep on doing it. Number 6, don't be afraid to go off grid for a while. But when you do show up again, rain down what you have like waterfalls. I think I mentioned this point as the first point. Don't be afraid to go off grid for a while. But when you do show up again, whatever value you've been able to accumulate, rain it down like waterfalls. If you're going to take some time out, for a recess, for adding value to yourself, working on yourself personally, it's okay. Nobody's going to judge you for that. But when you eventually come back again, let people know that this person was not around for some time and he's back. The 7th one, which I consider very, very key, is let Jesus be your leader. He knows the way because he lived it. He knows the way because he lived the way. Sometimes, life shakes us really hard. Things happen we didn't expect, and thus throw us off balance. Most times, the road always looks dark, and our efforts seem as though nothing is coming out, nothing productive is coming out. During those times, right, it is very, very possible that what another person is saying doesn't make sense to you. During those times, nothing motivates you. During those times, you can look out. I have written something very, very inspiring before, and then I was down, very down, and I took that thing I wrote and looked at it, and I remembered the kind of applause I had when I delivered it, and I said, "What's this one?" I just dropped it. It's possible that at some point when it feels like nothing is working, even your work doesn't inspire you, even the testimonies of people feels like nothing to you. At that point, you need Jesus. You need to cleave to him. And it's not just at the point where everything looks dark. Even at times when all is well and everyone is celebrating you, make sure you have Jesus at your feast. Make sure he's in your life. He's your guarantee that no matter what happens, all will be well. You can't guarantee that if you keep doing everything right, it's going to work out in a certain way. You can't guarantee that. Companies who are in the manufacturing business, manufacturing products and all that, who employ up to about 2,000 laborers to do things, they made plans as at 2019, and they did everything right. And then this year came and then shook them. The business closed down. Businesses closed down. You think they didn't do things right? They did things right. But there are times when things just come and then shakes us. This pandemic is one of those things. comes around, shakes you, makes you feel as if you've done nothing at all. During those times, you cannot afford to be alone. You cannot afford to stand on your own. The wind will push you away. You need somebody stronger. You need a pillar. You need somebody that can sustain you, somebody who knows the way, somebody who has been there, somebody that can always guide you when friends are not around. Because I could have said, call a friend, have this association of people around you that will inspire you, that will talk to you and all that. That's okay. But it's not every time you have friends around. It's not every time you have friends around. There are times even when your friend comes, visits you, talks to you, and then when they leave, the main battle starts because you're back again in the secret, and then your heart. So many things are flying in and out of your mind. Should I quit? Should I stop? Should I continue? It's not even looking like it. Nobody's, saying anything. Nothing is coming forth. It's looking as if my efforts are in vain. During those times when nobody's around, only the omnipresence can be around. So you need him, right? You need him. So today we've been talking about sustaining steam. Sustaining steam. And the Bible says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. You may have started well, January, and this is September, the 9th month, 4 months to go. I want you to finish strong. I want you to finish strong. Finish strong. As a writer, finish strong. If there's something you set out to do, then do it. If, as a speaker, I want you to finish strong. If there's a level you've not attained in that industry, then go forth, expand your knowledge. Like I said, not all you know can carry everybody along. The value you have now can only attract a certain number of people. So if you want to attract more people, you have to be willing to go back and work on yourself more. Work on yourself more. Work on yourself more. Right? So, better is the end of the thing than the beginning. If you want your steam to be sustained, you have to practice these seven things. Starve your distractions, feed your focus, be self-aware, know when to unplug, when to plug in, when to take a break, when to go off grids and all that. Be your own competition. Don't judge your humble beginnings by the standards of someone's 20 years of effort. You just started today. Don't judge or measure up yourself with somebody who started 20 years ago and then be giving yourself pressures that are not necessary. Be patient. Take things one step at a time. Celebrate your wins, no matter how little they are. Learn and master why you won or why you lost, so as to learn from your mistakes. Every time it feels as though tiredness sets in, remember why you started. Remember what testimonies you have been told now, and then remember where you're going. Number 6, don't be afraid to go off grids for a while, but when you do show up again, rain down your value like the waterfalls. Number 7, let Jesus be your leader. So I hope this has been a blessing to you and that you've learned from this. So if you have any questions, you can just quickly drop them in the comment section so we talk about them. We've taken like 53 minutes, and I'm really excited that we're able to put everything together in such short time. Last week we did 1 hour plus, so I'm looking to reduce the time. So if you have a question, you can just ask. If you have a comment, you can just drop it in the comment section. You can tell us what your experience has been like so far, right? So while you're doing that, next week we'll be having somebody come on the show and then talk to us on something that regards personal development. I won't be alone on the show next week. The flyer will be out. I'll try to make sure the flyer is out on time. Try to make sure it's out on time so that we don't have any rush hour things, right? So that is the announcement. And also, if you've not been receiving our daily broadcast, you can always drop your number, drop a comment in this comment section, and I'll chat you up and also reach out to you on how you can do it, how you can be added to the WhatsApp broadcast list. Then you'll be receiving our daily motivations to spice up your reflective hours of the morning every day. Right. Thank you very much for staying with us up to right now. I hope you really learned a lot. I hope you did learn something. Right. So until I come your way next time, my name is Fabian Collins, and this is a useful issue. We're going to keep getting better and better. I'm going to keep getting better and better. I am not going to stop here. We're going to keep getting better and better. So I want to take this time to also say thank you, and then also to Abiding TV that has given us the platform. Thank you very much, Abiding TV. God bless you and every one of you who makes this show a success. God bless you. See you next week.